Up to this point through the Would You Rather series, we've had a lot of interesting questions, right? Receiver against receiver, edge rusher against edge rusher, putting some of our guys against guys that are going to be free agents, such and kind of coming up with different combinations of would we rather have this guy or this guy? Mike Evans was a big part of that, right? We talked a lot about Mike Evans, kept pairing him up against other people, and the common opinion was let's go after Mike Evans, right? And in this video, it's going to be a little different, right? We've also talked about guys from our team that need to be paid, right? The Michael Pittman Juniors of the world, Kenny Moores of the world, a couple of other guys, Grover Stewart, some people that we need to pay and that we know we need to pay. So going forward, the question is going to be, what else do we do in free agency? Where else do we try to build the team up while Anthony Richardson is on his rookie deal to help him out and help this team out and try to win a championship? And if you ask me, honestly, I'm thinking that for this would you rather, we need to be pairing up an offensive guy and defensive guy. I kind of want to see what the vibe is with everybody. And these are comparable contracts, in my opinion, right? And we're talking about T. Higgins and Josh Allen, defensive end Josh Allen from the Jaguars, who's going to be a free agent. Both these guys looking to be free agents. Both these guys are going to be looking for big contracts, right? And for the purpose of this video, I'm assuming their contract's going to be $25 million a year, both of them. So this is what we're talking about. One of them is going to take up $25 million in cap space. So the question becomes, what do we go after? Right, because after Alec Pierce has a good game, everybody's like, oh, we don't need to go receiver. We're good. Another week goes by, he doesn't do anything, and people are like, okay, we need to go get a receiver. So that's why this question comes up in my mind. And I'm like, okay, maybe we do go receiver. So many people said we don't need receivers. I was like, okay, maybe we stop talking about receivers in this whole thing. But I think it's still something that we need to look at, getting a viable number one receiver, like a real number one receiver, right? Michael Pittman Jr. is also a number one receiver, but if you put Michael Pittman Jr. at the 2 and you get like a star at the number one position, right, the offense just becomes much different in that case. And even if you go get a number 2 guy, right, and you bring T. Higgins and still have Michael Pittman at 1, T. Higgins at 2, either way, those two on the same team would be ridiculous. They're big bodies. T. Higgins can get down the field and get over people. He can also run all the routes. Michael Pittman Jr., much of the same. He just doesn't have quite the same athleticism as T. Higgins. So I think, just like we talked about in the past so much, T. Higgins on this team next year with Anthony Richardson coming back would be ridiculous. Right? The offense would be so hard to stop, especially if we go into the draft in the first or second round and get one of these really good receivers that are coming out to pair up, have a bunch of depth. Josh Downs is going to be there. Alec Pierce will be there. And then a new guy, right? Then you have 5 guys that you feel comfortable with in the lineup at any point, right? And that could be the direction we go. Or would you rather have Josh Allen on the defensive side of things for the pass rush? Right, you add him in, you include him in, and as we've talked about, if we're going to get Josh Allen, then we're probably trading Kwity Paye would be my guess, especially with Kwity Paye going into last year, his rookie deal, ship him off, let somebody else deal with that. You go ahead, pay a guy that you know you're going to get consistent pass rush production from, and a guy that can seriously help this defense with the youth on the outside. If you're looking at the secondary, all the youth in those spots, even though they're getting very valuable experience and they've been very good, right? Juju, for the time he's played, was good. Jalen Jones been really solid this year. Kenny Moore does his thing. So I think if we're able to get more of a pass rush next year, somebody we know can give us that consistent pass rush and be a guy that people have to game plan for, right? You add Josh Allen to the defensive line with DeForest Buckner, that causes massive problems. And when you think about defense, if you can dominate on defense, you're going to give your offense more opportunities to score, right? So we've been a team this year, mostly with Gardner Minshew, that can score 20 plus points a game. If the defense continues to dominate, right, get teams 3 and out, you're getting sacks, you're able to force turnovers, then you're giving your offense more opportunity to score, and we could be a team that's routinely scoring 30 a game. Right, that's very possible if you get that consistent pass rush, right? And the pass rush that's going to make quarterbacks have that ticker come up faster. They have to make quicker decisions, which could make them make mistakes. That's where helping the secondary comes in, right? Because we're not really at a point with these guys in the secondary where we can have a whole lot of coverage sacks. So what we need is guys that can produce sacks to help out the secondary. We need to work it from the other side. Because what we've seen this year, like all season long, the Colts have either don't get any sacks in a game or they're going to get 5 or 6 sacks in a game. And they generally don't stretch those out, right? They have those 3 consecutive weeks of 5+ sacks in each of those games. But outside of that, it's very spotty through the season. So they get their sacks in bunches rather than getting them consistently through the season. When you add a guy like Josh Allen, they would be able to get that consistent sack pressure. So the question here becomes, would you rather bring in T. Higgins next year to the offense with Anthony Richardson, Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss, if we repay him, like all the boys, right? Offensive line's looking good. The offense could be deadly with T. Higgins, right? Or would you rather have Josh Allen join the defensive line, right? And you have a guy that you're going to get for 4 or 5 years, and he's going to consistently bring pressure and be able to get the defense off the field. Like him single-handedly is going to be able to affect games and get the defense off the field and get the offense more opportunities to score. And it's an interesting debate. And I keep going back and forth in my head. What would I rather do? Right. That's why I'm asking your guys' opinion. In my opinion, like honestly, I think we're in a position where we could skip out on receivers in free agency, even though T. Higgins would be great. And I would love to see T. Higgins. That would be so fun to watch. We'd be so unstoppable on offense. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to affect quarterbacks, man. And especially with as athletic as Josh Allen is, being able to chase quarterbacks down. You think about who we have in our division. Trevor Lawrence, not the fastest guy, but athletic. CJ Stroud, not the fastest guy, but athletic. Will Levis, not the fastest guy, but he has some wheels and he's athletic. Okay, that's 6 games a year. We need guys to chase down quarterbacks, and then you have more on top of that, right? Lamar Jackson's, Josh Allen's, the Patrick Mahomes, right? You have all these guys. So many quarterbacks now are able to have that mobility. Guy like Josh Allen would be able to chase guys down. He would be able to fluster quarterbacks that aren't able to get away because Josh Allen is so fast. He gets there so quick. His angles are so good. It's just everything about Josh Allen is elite, right? And what they do on the field is only part of the equation. The other part of the equation is them actually being on the field. And when you talk about availability, Josh Allen in his career has more availability than T. Higgins. T. Higgins misses a decent amount of games from time to time, right? The hamstring injuries, the ankle injuries, small things from here to here, but he's consistently missing time, which, will happen in the NFL. And it'll certainly happen to wide receivers, and that's all good and well. But that's just one of the reasons that I lean toward Josh Allen. So for me, if you're asking me, would I rather have T. Higgins or Josh Allen for $25 million a year? Go ahead and give me Josh Allen to sign a 5-year, $125 million deal to come to the Colts and be a pass rush specialist for a long time. We'll have Samson Ebicom with him for 2 years. Grover Stewart, hopefully signing a deal in the offseason. DeForest Buckner goes into last year, his contract next year. Hopefully we can get him back for, 2 or 3 years to see what happens toward the end of his career. But it'll be interesting. He's done a lot of losing here. I wouldn't be surprised if DeForest ends up wanting to go somewhere else. But with Anthony Richardson here, anything's possible, right? The window is open, and we'll see what happens there. But at the end of the day, man, having a pass rush again would be all, like consistent pass rush. There used to be every single game you knew when the game got tight and you got to 2nd and 3rd down and you knew the other team was going to be passing the ball, Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis were meeting at the quarterback. I want that back. It's been so long since we had a consistent pass rush. I want it back, right? Those games where we do have 5 or 6 sacks are great, but I want that to happen more consistently. I'd be fine. Just give me 2 or 3 sacks in a game, but have them at important times. That's really what matters is when are the sacks happening? If you're getting a sack on 1st down, who cares, right? Get a sack on 3rd down, get off the field, get a strip sack, right? Those are things we're looking for. Josh Allen can provide that in a big way, and I think that can be crucial when you're talking about trying to win a championship with a rookie quarterback. Okay, so again, I would love to know your opinion of all this. You let me know down in the comment section. And of course, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on. We're going to have the first injury report of the week later today. It'll just be an estimation of the walkthrough, but we'll still talk about it. There's some more stuff to talk about. I know there's some stuff from the Steelers side of things that we're definitely going to be wanting to talk about. So again, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you get notified when that video comes out. But until then, as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.